Hey guys, here's the gear for the shave today. We're using the brand new Osprey razor from Blackland. Brand new, maybe it's been out a year, maybe it's been out 6 months, something like that. The brush is going to be the Semogue Owners Club with a Taj handle. The soap is going to be Loyal from Chiseled Face. It is the Silk Tallow base, which is one you have to load a lot of soap. In my experience, both in the scooping that I've done and in the brush loading that I have done. The Astra Platinum is the blade of choice today, and that's because I'm using the Osprey. I watched Shane's video. He sends you a little card. I'll do an unboxing video later, but it's kind of unnecessary because he does a nice unboxing video himself. But my unboxing is going to be done after the shave, and so I'm going to make be able to make a couple of comments, I would imagine, about its use, and so I'm not going to go into great detail about it today. With this shave right now, but we'll go ahead and put the blade in. I haven't shaved in maybe a week or 5 days, something like that. This Astra Platinum looks like about 5 or 6 shaves on it. The one cool thing he did with the Osprey, this is an adjustable razor from 1 to 9, and it's complicated in terms of the base plate assembly. As you can imagine, most adjustable razors are, right? But you know what he did? He made it so that you could take a handle from another razor, like a normal 3-piece, and use it with the Osprey. You see how the bolt comes out of the base plate assembly there? You can put a stainless handle you get from Maggard's on there. I don't think it's going to look quite very good because most handles come to more of a narrow neck at the top, and that's not going to look good with this abrupt kind of shape, but it's possible. I know there are a few razor handles out there that are a little wider at the connecting point. But anyway, I think that's neat. He gave us that flexibility. It's because he's not out to make a zillion dollars. He is out to, and he's not out to try to make you only need to buy his stuff. He's given us the flexibility. I think he's got shaving lovers at heart, you know. You do have to disassemble the 3 pieces, the base plate assembly, the top cap, as usual to put the blade on. As usual with Blackland, the quality and the craftsmanship is just amazing. It's just terrific. There are a few little hidden corners in there that, don't get the polished treatment, but that's okay. If he were to polish those, it would be really kind of complex and probably make the razor cost $200 more, and I'm glad about that. Looks great. I'm going to put it on a setting of 3. He recommends, if you are a lover of the DE89 type series, or an average setting might be a 4. But I'm just a lover of mild razors, and so he said the 1 was probably too mild for most people. I'm glad he made the setting 1 that way, because there are people out there who really want a mild razor, more mild than like everybody else does, and so maybe that's the people that would be helped by the number 1. Number 2, though, he said might be the mildest for your average person to use, and so that's why I'm going to go with a 3 this time. And even a 3, should I do a 4 because let's try a 4 because I've got more growth. You have an option when you make the order of a titanium razor as well. You also have an option to make the lettering darker. There's some kind of end painting you can do, or a steel process that makes it darker. This is kind of hard to read, but I don't change settings a lot, and so I might actually like the more natural look. It's not jumping out at you. In the photos, that darker lettering was really kind of evident, and maybe a little too dark for aesthetics, at least my personal ones. Okay, so we're now on about a 4. It doesn't do clicks, and so you can do a 4.5, 3.5 setting if you want. No problem there. Let me get my face wet. I did do a quick face pre-wash with a sterling bath soap. because since I haven't shaved in so long, I didn't want those skin oils to affect the lather. Because today I'm also doing, not only am I testing this new razor, I'm also testing the Silk Tallow soap with the Slurry Lather Method. Oh man, that's like oh, I love the scent on this. It's so manly. Wood and resins and amber and just some good stuff in here. It definitely doesn't agree with the all the flowery stuff that's out there. It's kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. Nothing wrong with the flowery stuff if that's what you like, but that's not my preference. So I'm glad that people make soaps like this. It was I bought a tub of it. I wish I had my other tub and use it instead of just starting on this new one. But my other tub of it, I bought it right away when he came out with it because number one, I was pumped about the new base because I wanted a higher performing base, a slicker, creamier base than the standard tallow from Chiseled Face, and I was hoping this would be it. And it is it. The lather that you do get is glorious. I love it so much. However, it takes so much product to make that happen that it's sometimes problematic. I have to scoop 3 times as much stuff using this soap. All right, so that kind of makes it a little more expensive than our other soaps. The blade is loaded. My face is washed. We're going to do the slurry lather, and I also chose today, instead of like a dense, high density badger brush like this Umo Manchuria, I chose the boar here because it is amazing. It excels at the slurry lather method. And so the brush is not going to be the problem with this soap and the slurry lather attempt. Okay, how long has this brush been in? Okay, 9 minutes. That should be enough. It won't be as soft as it can get, but that'll be fine. Holds a lot of water. You can see there. And then here we go. 1, 2, 3, 40, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not exactly 100 swirls there, but pretty darn close. And we do not have a slurry right there. We definitely have built it up more, but I just thought, hey, I would give it a little bit more loading time, knowing this soap like I do. Okay, so we'll go right to face, and true to slurry technique, we should have a lot of water in the brush. We may even get a lot of dripping. It won't take very much to lay this really wet layer down on my skin. It'll be lightly bubbly, hopefully. And there we go. That was a little bit longer than I usually spend on the first pass, but also my beard is kind of in the way too. I'm not going to judge this if it clogs up with such a long beard. I'm not going to be critical about it in that sense. When I was looking to purchase this, I was wondering if I should splurge. It is an expensive razor, so it's a luxury. You can definitely purchase a razor like this vintage Gillette Tech, and it will shave you wonderfully your whole life, and you can get it for less than $10 on eBay usually. So you don't need to pay the price of this kind of razor if you don't want to. And the Tech is a good razor. It's not like a DE89 from Merkur or like the 34C or whatever that standard one is. It's not like the D89 from Jagger or Muley, where it's pot metal and it will likely eventually break on you. The tech, the older ones are brass, and so that money you spend will last you a very long time and give you great shaves. Millions of guys have gone before you and shaved with the tech, for instance, and those other vintage Gillettes. You may notice that there is a counterweight here in the middle, and it comes out via a flathead screwdriver you can put in there. If you want it to be more head focused in terms of the weight distribution or just heavier in general, you can add that or remove it. Shane said there was a possibility of future inserts being developed that were heavier or lighter, perhaps. You know, you can have your choice of inserts. I definitely like that because it would be too head focused, too head heavy for me if that insert wasn't in there. The balance point is very close to the head, even with the insert installed. It's right around there. And I would actually prefer if it was a little farther down. And so I would love a longer insert. It is a little heavy. The stainless steel version is a little heavy. But what I'm hoping is not too heavy. I don't want to have to buy the platinum version. I mean the titanium version, because it's just too expensive. But I love adjustables, and I love what Shane has done. And what I love is, and this is why I bought this razor, you can see, like most razors, you have the top cap that comes kind of close to the blade edge. But with this razor, that base plate that you may have seen earlier comes very close to the blade edge as well. Almost as close as the top cap does too. And so you've got wonderful control on the edge of the blade from the top and the bottom. And that's not what you get with the Blackbird, for instance. There's a lot of overhang, not very much bottom support at all. And so for me, it's one of the reasons it makes that Blackland, the one I just said, the Blackbird, it makes that razor so aggressive and tenuous for me. This one, however, even taking down that first pass, very much in control. Now that I've got that done, you know what I'm going to do? He does say to loosen the handle before you make adjustments. One side has this triangle and it comes to a point. The other side says Blackland and it's not quite as pointy. And so the one with the triangle is the one that indicates the number that you are using. It is hard to turn with my hands being wet. My particular one doesn't turn past 5 without a great amount, without me maybe having to go get a wrench. And so that is a fault of Shane and the manufacturing process. Great thing about Shane, there's no risk at all because I will be able to send him an email and he will make it right. He will either send me out that assembly to replace this one, or he'll even pay to have me send the razor back to him, and then he will quickly send me back a replacement razor that works correctly. And you know it's gonna be that way. But I think it's gonna be a fair test today because I probably won't need to use the razor past the 5 anyway. And so I don't believe I'm missing out on anything. So I'm gonna retighten the handle. He says you don't need to tighten it too tight. Just a light snug is fine. Okay. And I did the water thing. Let's do a little bit more water since I was talking. Yep, I can feel that slickness. And now, see, I didn't actually get a lot of soap on that first pass, on that first load. That's kind of what you get with this particular soap. So setting 3 now. That's very nice. Just a little bit of blade feel. If you like the handle of the Blackbird with its vertical fluting here, then it's going to remind you of that. handle is a little slippery when you've got some lather on there. But I do like how the end here expands a little bit, and so it's not going to come out of your hand. That knob at the end is going to give you a nice secure grip, even though the other part is slippery. There's a second pass. Splash of water. Shane recommends trying a blade that you already like. He does send it with Persona Lab Blues. But he actually recommends use instead, when you're trying it for the first time, a blade that you personally enjoy. Because then that's eliminating a variable. If you don't like the Lab Blues or they don't work well for you, then that may mean the Osprey doesn't work well for you. And he doesn't want that to be an issue. Try your own blades at first. I mean, try the Lab Blues later if you want, but make sure you definitely try them with your own blades, your own favorites. And he also accurately says, give it a few tries. Try it 2 to 6 times before you pass judgment and say maybe it's not for you. All right, the setting is still at 3. Let's change it down to a 2. That is hard to adjust. See, I'm gonna have to get a cloth here. Obviously, he's going to fix that for sure. Easy to adjust with my t-shirt. Snug it back up. So let's try and see what the 2 does. See how it feels? Already I have a very efficient shave. And so we're definitely only going to pick up just a little bit of stuff here. But what it's going to give me an idea of is the feel of that particular gap. And see, yeah, we've lost some water here. So what I'm going to do, add a little bit of water to my soap tub here, and then go back. The great thing about the slurry method is that you can very quickly jump back in and get to a slick, shapeable type arrangement here. I could use more water, but it's fine. So, setting number 2. That is very comfortable. I like that. The grip on the blade there is rendering it with such great control. And that is exactly what I was guessing would happen. And what I was hoping was going to happen. Very nice. I wish the grip were a little nicer. With the fluting here is very attractive. But it's not very grippy with the soap. If it's just water, you're fine. But once some lather gets on there, it gets quite slippery. All right, so that's 3 passes. Looks great. I'm going to pause you and give myself a good rinse and then check out my kind of the cut that I've gotten, how close it is everywhere. I definitely see some areas that need some kind of touching up. It's not quite as close as it could be, but it's a good close shave. I would probably say that this I would need to use it with other blades, and maybe the Astra is not a great match with it, but it was comfortable even at 3. Now that's interesting. I'll try it with 4 and see if it's comfortable on the third pass. It was very nice with 2. The setting of 2, it was in great control. It moved. I still could feel the blade just a tiny bit, and it was in really nice firmness and control and smoothness there. So I'm looking forward to playing with this razor more. And yeah, so see the 4 gap there took down a week's worth of growth with just no problem. So you don't have to go up to those higher ranges if you don't want to. Just like many adjustables, I'm probably going to camp out around the lower end of this particular spectrum if I keep this razor. Probably around the 2 or 3 range is where I'm going to find that comfort and probably closeness as well. Now, if I try more blades and I keep experiencing the comfort, I expect that. But then if the closeness doesn't come along with it, if I keep getting the kind of shave I have today where it needs just a little bit more work, then maybe this razor is not for me. Just the configuration, that sort of thing. I mean, a minute detail in the way the safety bar here is up or down or out or in or curved a certain way can make a big difference. Everybody's face is different, and so I can rest in Shane's guarantee. I'll give it more tries. I'll bring them to you, of course. And so the soap here, the Chiseled Face Silk Tallow. It worked okay with the Slurry Lather Method, but it's one of the lesser ones. Doesn't quite work as well because you have to load for so long. You almost start developing a little bit of lather right away. Now that's not really a problem, but as you could see, even then I had to go back and get more soap. I could try it with more water on the brush. You see how I let it drip, and then I even shook it out a few times. Maybe not do that next time. So try a few more things with this one. Just to see how it works with the slurry lather. But again, the slurry lather method is something I've come up with. I'm sure there are guys, grandpas who have done this before in the past. I think it's kind of an intuitive method, but the point is to have a lot of water in the brush at first and to not make it in. You don't have to make it into a mature lather right away. That kind of bubbly wet slurry that you throw on immediately is a whole lot slicker than people give it credit for. And then by the time you get to the third pass, then you have that more mature lather that you might be looking forward to. And this method is particularly suited for people who need to shave quickly. It does a great job of that, giving you slickness and speed. Those are the 2 things that the Slurry Lather Method excels at. If you want that luxury creaminess from pass number 1 all the way to 3, then this is not the method for you. You should either do a normal face lather or what I would normally do, a bowl lather, to get that kind of mature lather from the beginning. So there we go. Let's see, what do we have around here? Oh, you know what? Here is baseball. Here is diamond from Barrister and Mann, and I think it will kind of match up nicely with the soaps that we use today, the Loyal. So I was pleased with the razor to see that firmness of grip. And when I saw the pictures of the base plate that he put online, I thought, yeah, I bet that one's going to be one I like. It's always nice when an adjustable comes out. Keep in mind also that most people don't need adjustables. A lot of beginners think they need one at the first because they don't quite know where their preferences lie. But most people, when they buy an adjustable, end up figuring out one setting and leaving it there anyway. And like the great razor like the Tech is set at a medium kind of setting. A lot of people say this is a mild razor, but I don't think it actually is. I think it's got enough exposure. It gives you a little bit of blade feel. It's not super smooth. You can feel the blade more on this Tech than you can with this set at a number 2, for instance. I think, and that's why it was such a great razor for so many years, used by so many guys, because it kind of did everything well. Shane said after the end of the shave, make sure you give your razor blade a little gap there, give it a good rinse, and then let it air dry open a little bit like that if you don't want to disassemble it fully, so that you won't get staining and stuff from the blade to the razor parts. And very good. So I was excited to try this razor for the first time, and it didn't blow me away right away, probably because of the weight. I wish it were a little farther back, but also the slippery grip. That was a little disillusioning, and the blade it wasn't an amazing match for it from the beginning. So we'll try more, see what happens. All right, guys, take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.